I'm driving again. Headed to Fletcher today to pick up some dining chairs off of Facebook. Do y'all really care what I'm driving to buy? I don't always tell you. I don't know, maybe you do. Anyway, today I'm going to talk about trauma brain. And trauma brain is on my mind today because my husband is home on vacation. He didn't come with me today because he's not feeling good. He's back home chilling. But he has noticed it's been over a year since he's been home. And apparently my trauma brain symptoms have gotten worse. Last time he was here was when I had gone to rehab. So there's that. Some of my trauma brain may actually be from that also, which, I mean, sorry, I'm at the Haywood County, Buncombe County line, so it's really curvy right here. This might not have been the best place to start a video. It's all related though, because I started drinking to deal with the trauma, and I think my excessive drinking definitely contributed to some of the symptoms I have. But anyway, let's talk about trauma brain. What I call trauma brain is some of the symptoms of the damage and the effects that trauma has on your brain and the way that it manifests in my life. I forget things. I have super bad memory. I'll be in the middle of telling you something and I'll just totally forget. And some of that is normal to a certain extent. We used to call it old timers. You know, a lot of that happens just as you get older. I'm 51, so a certain amount of it, you know, just comes with age. Being forgetful. But I mean, for example, here's an example. Had to replace the battery on my other car, my Mustang, because okay, so my other car is a Mustang. It's a convertible, and that car is my baby. Love that car, but can't drive it much in the wintertime. It's paid for, you know, there ain't no point in getting rid of it. We bought this car when we sold our house back in Fayetteville. Some of the proceeds, we had a little bit of cash, and we knew we was going to need some kind of truck, so we got this. You know, so I got two cars, but it ain't like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, we ain't got $10,000 in both of them, you know, so don't act like I'm some kind of rich person. But anywho, okay, there's right there, that ADDness, right? That jumping all over the place. That's a symptom right there. That's trauma brain. I'm all over the place. I'm scatterbrained. I'm a lot worse than that than I used to be. But anyway, so the Mustang don't get drove during the wintertime. Sits up. And so apparently my husband, who is a mechanic, told me that it should be able to sit for a certain amount of time and still crank up, but that I ought to go out there every couple weeks and start it up, even if I don't drive it nowhere. I distinctly remember, even now, I swear, I remember him specifically saying that a car in good shape with a good battery ought to be able to sit for 6 months, and I ought to be able to go out there and crank it right up and have it start. I swear to all the gods, that's what I remember him saying. That ain't what the man said. And I talked to a couple different mechanics, and they all said, no, your husband don't know what he's talking about, which would be true if that's what my husband had actually said, but that ain't what the man said. Because when I said, well, the mechanic said, you know, that I needed to be starting it every couple weeks, and he's like, yeah, that's what I told you. And I felt bad. I had maligned him to a couple mechanics in the area. I haven't told him this, and he won't ever see this video, so he'll never know that. Anyway, So yeah, I distinctly remember. I can have a conversation with you today, tomorrow, I won't remember that conversation. And it don't have to be about anything important. It don't have to be about anything especially trivial. It will just completely be gone from my brain. Obviously, there's quite a lot from my childhood that I don't remember. There are specific things that are blocked out, probably for good reason. There are things since I've been living back up here that come back, that have been popping back up that, have been real emotional things, that just flood back. We went out to Sunburst a few days on Sunday. Today's Wednesday. We went Sunday. I took him out. Sunburst is one of my favorite places in the world. It's kind of halfway between Waynesville and Canton, sort of. And it's on the Pigeon River, and way back in the day, well, like in the early 1900s, it was like a model logging camp. And anyway, it's Haywood County's favorite swimming hole. There's this swimming hole up there that we used to go to all the time when I was a kid. My papa went there when he was a kid. It's this fabulous place out there. There's a little campground right near there where we used to camp when I was a kid. I have some actual good memories there when I was a kid. Camped there with my grandparents. Some actually good memories with my parents from when I was a kid. Anyway, so I took my husband out there and showed him the place, and we took the dog and did some hiking, and that was really cool. But some of the memories that came back, stuff that I remember, just little flashbacks that came back, most of them were good. Most of the things out there are good. I don't really have many bad memories out there, so that's good. Trauma brain. Point of this is trauma brain. So I have a real hard time making decisions about things, like for example, all right, the way Waynesville is laid out, the town that I live in now, if you're wanting to get from point A to point B, there's about 3 different ways you can get there, and all of them will get you there about as quick. And it just depends on what you want to see in between, what sights you want to see on the way by, really. And he used to laugh, when we first got married and we'd be up there, and he'd be driving and he'd be like, hey, do I turn left or I turn right? Well, you can, is what I'd always say. And so, but now we're out and he's driving because he just wants to drive. He wants to, that's how he's trying to get his feel for the place, trying to get his bearings and really learn the place, so, he wants to drive so he can learn the place better. So instead of having me chauffeur him everywhere, he ain't gonna learn the place that way. So I'm trying to tell him, and I'm trying to say, okay, we need to go such and such. Okay, but wait a minute, but if we go this way, okay, we need to stop and go that way, but wait a minute, now if we go this and we do that and we do this, and I'm 5 different things trying to tell him one thing, and he's getting frustrated at me, and he's snapping at me, and he's getting irritated, and it's really getting to me. And I understand why it's frustrating. I really kind of do. I mean, I would get irritated at that too. I mean, he's got to make a decision. He's got to turn left or right now, and I'm going on this roundabout. Well, you could do this, or you could do that, or you could do this, or you could do that, or you could do this, or you could do that, and just tell me which way to go right now. And then I don't know. There's 3 different possibilities that I have to figure out, and I'm sorry. That's how my brain works. Now, my brain is damaged because I have trauma, and I understand. Didn't used to be this bad. It's gotten worse, but that's how it is. And so I don't know if this is making any sense whatsoever. I'm gonna have to play this back and see if it actually does make any kind of sense. I'm about to my exit, but that's trauma brain. And basically, I've got some stuff on the blog that explains it, and I'll link to that better when I can write stuff out and edit it and go back, it's better. So I've already got some articles up on the blog that explains what trauma does to the brain, that explains why all this is. But this is an example of how it is and what it's like to live with it, because it sucks. And this is something that's going to be with me for the rest of my life. I don't know that there is anything you can do about this. I don't know that there's any way to make it any better. You know, I don't drink anymore. I don't. Why would I be getting a call right now? Now's not a good time to be calling me. I'm driving. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't. I don't think there's anything to be done about it. I don't know. I mean, do crossword puzzles help this kind of thing? Are there brain games that you can play that will, I don't know, maybe that will help with focus or something like that. But I don't know. But the forgetful and the fact that my brain can't really hold on to memories, I don't think there is a cure for that. I don't think there's a fix for that. I don't think there's improvement for that. There are neural pathways that are just burnt up, because of the trauma. Trauma did it. Trauma's bad. And this is what it's like to live with it. This is what it looks like. This is what it looks like on the day-to-day. A squirrel on caffeine is what it looks like. And it's frustrating. And it hurts when it bothers and annoys people. Even though I understand it would annoy me too. Anyway, I gotta pull up directions to get to this guy's house to get these chairs. But that's my car talk for today, y'all. Do you have trauma brain? What's it like for you? How does it manifest for you? What are some of the things that you forget? What are some of the things that how does it manifest in your life? Talk about it. Say something about it. Tell me I'm not alone with this. I know I'm not, but tell me I'm not. Help me feel less alone. Thanks, y'all. Talk soon.